Birmingham police detective Alfreda Fluker arrested for murder.
It's like I've been handed a script in a play. It said, here, just take this your life from now on. You got to deal with it. It's not fair.
A Birmingham police detective is behind bars tonight, accused of shooting and killing a woman overnight. Russell Jones reports investigators say the two were part of a love triangle.
It's about a love triangle gone wrong.
Birmingham police detective Alfreda Fluker arrested for murder. According to police, Fluker shot a woman in an unmarked Birmingham police car late Friday night at the 3000 block of Pearson Avenue. Investigators say when they arrived, they located a woman suffering from several gunshot wounds. The man inside of the vehicle with the woman was an off-duty police detective. He was not injured.
On the night of April 10th, 2020, in Birmingham, Alabama, a woman lost her life. Not to a stranger, not to a random act of violence, but to someone who wore a badge and had sworn to uphold the law. Her name was Kanisha Fuller. She was 43 years old, and she never made it home that night. What makes this case so deeply disturbing is not just the violence of what happened. It is who carried it out and why. Because the person who pulled that trigger was not a criminal hiding in the shadows. She was a decorated law enforcement officer, a detective, a woman who had spent years serving the city of Birmingham. And the man at the center of it all, also a detective, also a badge carrier, also someone the public trusted.
Well, a female Birmingham police detective is behind bars tonight, accused of shooting and killing a woman overnight.
This is a story about a love triangle that turned deadly. It is a story about betrayal, not just between two people, but between a badge and the public it was supposed to protect. It is a story about a woman named Kanisha Fuller, whose life was taken because of choices she did not make and secrets she was never told. Before we go any further, if you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button right now. Stories like Kanisha's deserve to be told, and we are committed to telling them with the honesty and respect they deserve. Stay with us, because what unfolded in the months and years after that night in Germania Park is something you need to hear from beginning to end.
Something that happened very bad this morning. And as chief of police, I wanted to come out and let you know exactly what happened and hopefully put some of your questions and concerns and community concerns to rest. Last night at approximately 11:51 p.m., officers from the West Precinct responded to a ShotSpotter call of several rounds fired in the 3000 block of Pearson Avenue. Officers arrived on scene in Germania Park and discovered a female had been shot inside of a vehicle multiple times. The victim was transported to UAB Hospital with life-threatening injuries, and this morning she's been pronounced deceased. The preliminary investigation revealed that the vehicle that this woman was in is an unmarked Birmingham police car. The victim was inside the car with an off-duty Birmingham police detective. It has been determined that the suspect and shooter was also a Birmingham police detective who was off-duty at the time. It has been established that the motive of the shooting was domestic in nature. At approximately 6:46 this morning, the suspect was taken into custody at her residence on the west side of Birmingham and transported to the Birmingham Police Headquarters for questioning. At this time, she's in our custody and she will be transported to the Jefferson County Jail, where she will be booked on multiple charges, with the most serious being murder. Considering this involves one of our officers, we've contacted the Alabama Law Enforcement Investigation Bureau, who will be conducting an extensive investigation and following up on our detectives' findings so far.
Well, a female Birmingham police detective is behind bars tonight, accused of shooting and killing a woman overnight. Russell Jones reports investigators say the two were part of a love triangle.
It's about a love triangle gone wrong.
Birmingham Police Detective Alfreda Fluker arrested for murder. According to police, Fluker shot a woman in an unmarked Birmingham police car late Friday night at the 3000 block of Pearson Avenue. Investigators say when they arrived, they located a woman suffering from several gunshot wounds. The man inside of the vehicle with the woman was an off-duty police detective. He was not injured.
It has been established that the motive of the shooting was domestic in nature.
The victim, 43-year-old Kanisha Nicole Fuller, later died at the hospital. Police say they arrested Fluker later that morning at her residence.
And unfortunately, we follow every protocol to make sure that we're doing everything the right way. And even when it leads to one of our own, we're going to make the tough call and we're going to take the right action.
Fluker has been with the Birmingham Police Department for 15 years. She also worked as a detective and with the Birmingham Crime Reduction Team.
A police detective was sentenced today to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And today we're hearing from the victim's mother for the first time. Our Carly Lang joins us in the newsroom with reaction to the sentencing hearing today. Carly.
Yeah, Ben, no matter what your title is, you can't go around killing people. Those are the words of Kanisha Fuller's mother after today's hearing. Police say Fuller was shot and killed in April 2020 by former Birmingham police detective Alfreda Fluker. Fluker was sentenced today to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During an exclusive interview with CBS 42, Fuller's mother, Janice Andrews, says while she is pleased with the results of today's hearing, she says no one should have to go through this.
It's like I've been handed a script and a play. It said, here, just take this your life from now on. You got to deal with it. It's not fair. It's not fair.
By November 2023, 3 years, 7 months after Kanisha Fuller took her last breath in that vehicle at Germania Park, a jury looked at the evidence, heard the facts, and delivered a verdict. Alfreda Fluker was found guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder. The sentence, life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Kanisha's family, that verdict meant something. It meant that the courts looked at what happened to their loved one and called it exactly what it was: murder, cold, deliberate, and inexcusable. 3 years is a long time to wait for accountability. 3 years of grief without resolution. 3 years of showing up to a process that does not move the brokenhearted. But let's be clear about something. A conviction does not fill an empty seat at a family table. It does not answer a phone that no longer rings. It does not replace a woman who had a life, who had people who loved her, who had mornings ahead of her that she never got to see. Kanisha Fuller was 43 years old. She was not a headline. She was not a case number. She was a real woman in a real city whose life was taken from her because a man she trusted was living a double life. And the woman on the other side of that deception had access to a loaded weapon and chose to use it. And here is something that cannot be overlooked. When first responders arrived at the scene that night, Mario White, the detective at the center of all of this, did not tell the truth. He pointed the finger at, and I quote, several black males. He stood over the body of a woman who had just been shot, and he lied. He misdirected an investigation. He used a racial narrative to buy himself time and cover. That lie matters. It always will. He eventually told the truth and implicated Fluker. But the fact that his first instinct was to lie, and to lie in that specific way, says everything you need to know about the kind of man Kanisha Fuller was involved with, likely without ever knowing the full picture of who he was. Fluker made a choice that night, a violent, irreversible, devastating choice. But Mario White set the conditions for that collision. He kept two women in the dark. He carried a secret that was always going to surface. The only question was how. This case forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about the people and institutions we extend our trust to. Fluker and White were not strangers to community. They were officers of it. Their badges represented safety. And in the span of a few minutes on a spring night in 2020, one of them used her training and her weapon not to protect, but to destroy. Kanisha Fuller deserved better. She deserved the truth. She deserved to know who she was really dealing with. And most of all, she deserved to go home. To everyone watching, thank you for staying until the end of this story. If this moved you, if it made you think, if it reminded you of someone you know or a story you've heard, please share this video. Let Kanisha's name travel further than it has. Drop a comment below and tell me where in the world you're watching from. And if you have thoughts on this case, on the verdict, on Mario White's role, on what justice really looks like here, I want to hear from you. Kanisha Fuller. Say her name. And we will see you in the next one.